Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it rain. Tonight we're gonna let it rain. Tonight we're gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it rain. Tonight we're gonna let it rain. Tonight we're gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it rain.
Well, that's one way to end the intro.
I was like,
That
it, sounded like
wasn't supposed to happen.
it cut off faster than what I normally would have.
I didn't know there was a way to stop those things, but hello everyone. We didn't quite get to. I could restart it, but then we'd have to go through the first 2 minutes again. Apologies, technical glitches and things. Happy Monday. I am joined by the one and only Kelly King, the atheist queen of Detroit. How are you, Kelly?
I am okay. I hate I got to go to work later on and it's snowing outside, but I am here. So.
Pluses and minuses, I suppose. It's snowing outside at my place too, which indeed leads to my problem. Between shows, I noticed a very strong smoke smell, and so I had to go investigate. Because it's so cold, my heaters have been running 24/7 probably for a while now, and one of them, the fan just burned out on, and so it was smoking and getting ready to burst into flames because the heating element was still running, but it wasn't moving the heat. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So good news, my house is not actually burning down, but it's Monday. The good news is if there were a fire, it would open a hole in the roof and the snow would get in and put the fire out, right? That's how that always works in the winter. Anyway, Advent. We are doing Advent. Yes, it's atheist. We've got our little Santa. We're doing atheist Advent. Now, for the benefit of the hate watchers, I should note that a good portion of the community are pagans or polytheists or agnostic. When I say atheist, I basically mean non-Christian. But there are some Christians in the community too, who occasionally.
And if you're a pagan, I want you on my show. So let you know that.
Kelly's collecting pagans.
I'm collecting pagans. Gotta
right,
catch them all.
So we've got 3 Advent calendar windows we need to open. So first, for Saturday, we have this funny little guy, which looks a lot like quartz to me, but might be something else. I can't read. It's a dark yellow orange text on a dark blue background, and I cannot fucking read it. So hold, please, and I will turn a light on. This little light of mine. Yeah, given its roughness and things, Weirdly, it's got a little bit of a greenish tone to it. I don't know if that shows up. Maybe I can add some light. It's I can't get away that's like not shadowed. So rude. But it's
I can see
so
it.
there's only two things it could be, and one of them is just quartz. It could be just quartz with a little bit of color, but it could also be blue barite, even though it looks green. Blue barite is commonly found crystallized within brown limonite or over a druzy quartz and calcite matrix. Okay. Oh, I suppose it could be green fluorite because it is kind of green, even though it's not like green, like green fluorite. Oh, I have a UV light around here somewhere. Fluorite fluoresces, and that's how you can tell. But I need to find a UV light. I'll have to get back to you on that one, folks. Okay, if it is the fluorite, this is the mineral it's a mineral form of calcium that belongs to the family of halide minerals. Amazing. That's not really helpful at all. All right. Sunday's day. Oh, I broke the little door. It's one of this. Oh, now the camera picks it up. At least y'all can see. So there's that. All right. So this one, it's got red and black. I'm gonna say this one's a garnet, but it might be it's mahogany obsidian. It looks almost just like it. So mahogany obsidian is volcanic glass like other obsidian, but with dark reddish brown color that resembles the rich hue of mahogany wood. So it's obsidian, but looks like wood. Amazing, amazing. Don't let humans name things, folks. And then Mondays are always the hardest because we have so many to go through, but we get so many rocks, and that's awesome. Is this?
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, this is. See, now I can't get the camera to actually focus on it. Focus over here, camera. Focus.
So we need
here,
Lifeline
camera.
on here with the rocks and stuff.
it won't do it. Okay, so this. What could it be? I'm gonna say this is howlite because they do. For anybody who's new, they do give me a chart of the various rocks, but they're not in the same order because that's part of the fun. You don't want to be able to predict which one comes next, but because there's a chart, I just have to match it to whatever's closest, and it looks the most like howlite. So that is a calcium borosilicate hydroxide mineral that crystallizes in the form of masses, whatever that means. So hooray, we got 3 pretty rocks. And I think probably the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, I'll go through and like look up what each, because we've caught this thing being wrong before. So we'll look up and see what each rock actually is and like look at the whole collection. I'll have to figure out a way to like display the whole thing. Maybe like a top-down view. I'll like lay them out on my desk and I'll use like my Nada phone as a webcam sort of. We'll figure it out. It'll be fun. I hope you join us for that. All right. Other notes. Let's see. So it is Advent. I found out something totally random but interesting. Let's see. What was it? Right. Trans men on HRT, 100% of trans men on HRT develop prostate tissue. I found that out this weekend. I've added that study to the website with all the other trans biology science. It's fascinating though, because there's so many people that are like, "Oh, trans women, don't forget to get your prostate checked," as if it's some kind of gotcha. Yeah, trans men, they're growing prostate tissue in their vaginas. Yeah. And I'm just so fucking tickled. Oh goodness. It's like, yeah, we're all intersex. Yeah, duh. So that's a fun bit of science. let's see. The font and colors are hopefully, I forget who it was who said that they were hard to read. Hopefully this is better. Once again, we're hoping to be off the software entirely by the end of the month, but who knows what the future has in store. And I do have a thing about the filters whenever those come up, but we will get to those later. So yeah. What was all right, why the hell did my own show not forward to me? That's just rude. That's just rude. That's okay though. Today's Bible verse, be wiser still. And to be wiser, you need to have wisdom. Kelly says you're welcome, Ember. Why? What? What did I miss? Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Oh, goodness. It's lovely to see you all. I'm just all kinds of distracted for various reasons. Many of you know some of them, but they're all different. It's fine. Oh, goodness. Okay, I have no idea what's going on, but that's typical. I'm for those of you who are watching later, first of all, hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell so you can join us and be in a future live chat. In fact, I'll put the chat on screen so y'all can see. So I don't think we have anybody too hateful today. I think we've gotten rid of most of that trash. So we're probably good. We're probably good. All right. To be wiser, one must embrace the value of wisdom for a start, as Socrates illustrated. We have to be willing and able to admit when we don't know things. How that ties into the Renaissance is my unfinished song says, Ember, the queen just sent my sock here. Where's the sock? The sock is hiding. It's fine. Oh, goodness. All right, we've got... Right. Anyway, Renaissance. We've talked a little bit about how the Renaissance was necessary for the Enlightenment in previous episodes. As we're building, because for those of you joining us for the first time, we've been doing this all month. We're doing Atheist Advent. We're going over the great accomplishments of secularism that have helped liberate the world from religious oppression and give us the wonders of the modern age. So in order to get to the Enlightenment, you have to break out of the medieval period of the church's death grip on knowledge and education. And for that, you need a Renaissance. And we have talked a bit about what some of the Renaissance scholars have said and done that helped pave the way for the modern era. But how did the Renaissance happen? And this has been a question that's come up a few different times over the course of the series so far. So today we're going to get into it a bit, to some degree, as best I can. Once I find where I put the dang window. So first of all, my first question is, where did the name of the period come from? Like who It's very smoky here, folks. It's it's a little rough, and I can't open my window because it's so cold out, and I can't run my... Well, I have two heaters. I have the one heater that tried to catch on fire, and the other heater is right here, right by my microphone. So I can't run my heaters right now. Shit. Alas. All right. Where did the name Renaissance come from? Like, at what point did people go, this is the Renaissance. We're living in the Renaissance. We have people today talk about having a new Renaissance because they're familiar with the old Renaissance. But did someone at some point just go, yeah, we're doing a Renaissance today? Where did that come from? Who started that? Maybe it's important. So I did us a little googly search, a little lookity-loo. And while I'm normally not a big fan of the AI overview, we do get a brief overview. Because that's what they... Yeah. Giorgio Vasari, in the mid-1500s, an Italian painter and art historian, first used Rinasciata. Jesus Christ, I was trying to sound so impressive. Alas. Rinascita in his 1550 book, Lives of the Most Excellent Painters, Sculptors, and Architects. Of course, that's the English translation, noting a revival of classical art after the Middle Ages. So he's noting that his own period, and perhaps 100 years before, where a renewal of like classical art was coming back. What was old is new again or something, but that's where the idea came from. But it wasn't until well after the fact, we were well into the Enlightenment, when Jules Michelet, who lived in the 1800s, he used the term Renaissance in his 1855 book. 305 years later, The History of France, applying the term Renaissance to the broader cultural awakening beyond just art, the learning and the wisdom and the, hey, the church is wrong about fucking everything, period, that whole thing. And then Jacob Burckhardt, in the later part of the 1800s, a Swiss historian who cemented the term's usage in his 1860 book, 5 years after the previous book, The Civilization of the Renaissance in Italy. It became like a thing. Only 5 years later, it went from the term being used, the French term, Renaissance, to it being like the name of the period, and he set the dates for the period. He was like from mid 1400s through, 100 years ago, whatever it was. That sort of thing. So that's where that came from. So that's good to know. That's pretty neat. Let me see. What was the other thing? All right. So to better explain what we're going to get into, because we have posited previously that there's likely several different causes, because we know that the Western Europe got access to the ancient Greek knowledge, the technology, the literature, the philosophy, and so forth that had been lost for almost 1,000 years because of the church. How did they get it? We know part of it was Islamic scholars had preserved much of the information. And we know a lot of the Islamic scholars were trying to refute what the Greeks had come up with to make the Quran be true. And in so doing, thanks to the printing press coming out in 1350-ish, what they wrote was able to be spread around. And so people in Western Europe, because of the trade of the Italians, the Italians had trade colonies all over the damn place. In fact, I have a map, and we do love our maps. They're, oh my goodness, maps. All right, so this is Europe, 14th century, start of the Renaissance period, right? And oh, we gotta move over here. Okay, so this is the remains of the Eastern Empire. It's literally Great Byzantium has been reduced to Constantinople and a little bit of the Europe side behind it. That's all that's left. That's all there is of the Roman Empire. Fucking wild. The Ottoman Turks are right on the verge of taking Constantinople, which effectively will be the death of the Eastern Empire. And then the Ottoman Empire will spread. So as the Eastern Empire got shrunk, the Islamic world grew and took over more and more. But also, there's so much that goes into this. The Eastern Empire had held a lot of scholarship and knowledge, and in many ways continued learning and building on the things that the ancient Greeks and pre-collapse Romans knew. They also had the church, but the church wasn't holding them back in the same way the Western church was. There's a big difference between like the head honcho of Constantinople, the patriarch of Constantinople, and the Pope. And you'll notice over here, we have, Italy. Once the seat of Roman power is divided, the papal states, which is when the church actually just straight up ruled. The church was like, you know what, we're in charge now. The church owns all this land. The King of Naples had his own thing, and northern Italy and most of Central Europe was nominally the Holy Roman Empire. Now, you'll notice it didn't include Rome, which is part of the papal states. But yeah, basically the Germanics came through, conquered Rome, and eventually just crowned themselves. Something, Charlemagne, Holy Roman Empire. And you'll notice a lot of the kingdoms are a little bit different than you may recall. Like, for example, we've got the Kingdom of Aragon, the Duchy of Aquitaine. France is a little bit different shaped. Luxembourg is an enclave within the Holy Roman Empire, but also the Habsburgs, their territory. It's fascinating. I love old maps because there's so much interesting stuff. Another thing worth noting is way the fuck over here, you'll notice the Principality of Russian States, the Grand Duchy of Moscow. But most of Russia is the Khanate of the Golden Horde. There's a Khanate. The Ka rules most of what's modern Russia and half of Ukraine and all of this. But right next to it, there's a Genovese trading colony, right? And we'll see that a lot. Here's another Genovese trading colony, and Crete belongs to Venice, and this little finger of Greece belongs to Venice. This little bit still technically part of the Eastern Empire. Here's another Venetian trading colony. Like, there's all these northern Italian trading colonies scattered all over the Mediterranean and in other places as well. And you'll see, well, Venice is technically a city-state. Details. But yeah, it's that's bringing a lot of this information into the West for the printing presses to do the printing press on. You'll notice Wallachia, home of Vlad the Impaler, that will, after the fall of Constantinople, the Ottomans come storming north, and that's a whole thing. Oh no, the Islam is going to take over Europe. It's a whole thing, but we're not on that today. There's so many tiny little empires too. Like over here, there's this little bitty empire. I mean, if this can be the Eastern Roman Empire, then absolutely this can be an empire too. No one's gonna judge you, bestie. But like, holy crap. But yeah, the Holy Land is like the Sultanate. This is interesting because like this is still considered to be Arab land. Like this whole thing, it's Turkic, it's Persian, but it's not the same as Arab, even though these are Muslim states, these are Muslim powers. It's fascinating. But also a big part of the Golden Horde is Turkic. That's one of the reasons that the Crimean Horde rebels against the Khan and sets up their own thing. But that happens later, so don't worry about that for now. What we're talking about today is as the Ottomans push the Eastern Empire further and further back, more and more of what the Greeks knew is leaking into the West and getting republished by the printing press. But also, the fall of Constantinople itself caused all the remaining scholars to flee. They ran back to Rome and brought their libraries with them, which made them subject to the printing press. So the rise of the Islamic powers both opened the doorway for Islam to grow and explore some of the ancient ideas, reintroducing them to Western Europe, but also the shrinkage of Byzantium caused other Greek ideas to be brought back to the West to like flee from the Islamic hordes. It's so wild that like every component of this is contributing to the rise of the Renaissance. But wait, there's more. Go back a couple hundred years further. I may have a tab for this. Let me see. I have so many tabs open. I tried to do some research last night to get some stuff ready. Okay, so we need to go back a little further. To shoot, I can't find the tab. We'll just go with another AI over. I fucking hate these AI overviews, but it's what I have available right in the moment. So Byzantium, when did they lose Jerusalem? Because we know around the 7th century, Islam was growing. And it turns out this Rashidun Caliphate took Jerusalem in 637 CE or 638. And the city was captured. Apparently, okay. Here we go. There's more to it. All right. In 614, the Sasanian army captured the city, and it remained under their control for 15 years. Then Byzantium reconquered it. So in the 7th century, they could reach all the way to Jerusalem, but then they lost it again because the Islamic armies took it back in apparently the sea. Yeah, okay. They started reconquering the Levant in 634 and laid siege to Jerusalem in 636. And after 6 months of siege, the Patriarch, because it was under the Eastern Empire, the Patriarch surrendered the city to the Rashidun Caliphate in 637. So Caliph Umar, who was the third head of all of Islam, there was the Prophet Muhammad, and then there was, depending on who you ask, there was the first caliph. I can't remember his name because that's not my area of history, but then Umar was the third caliph, except in Iran, where Ali was the proper successor to the prophet. But that's a whole other story for another time. The point is, Islam was still growing, and somehow the Romans, the Eastern Empire, had gotten so complacent, so shitty, so bad at tactics, or maybe it was the infusion of the Chaldean knowledge from pre-Roman times or something, but the Islamic armies were just wiping the floor with the once indefeatable Roman legions. These invincible troops were just getting their ass handed to them over and over and over, and just rolled right up like a carpet back towards Constantinople. And so it took a few hundred years to get from Jerusalem up there. But once Jerusalem was conquered, okay, a couple hundred years later, the Pope started saying the Eastern Empire has failed to protect the Holy City. It is now convenient politically for the Pope to call upon all good Christian rulers to send troops to retake the Holy Land from the heretical hordes for Jesus, for the glory of Christ, that sort of thing. So we got the First Crusade. And the Crusades, pluses and minuses. There was a lot that did not go super well. But the main thing is, Jesus, I can't find the damn tab I wanted. It's don't set shit up the night before when you're not going to get enough. I mean, I had to. There was no other time to do it. But like,
Yeah.
I can't find anything I want now because of.
Yeah, I didn't go to bed till late because I was trying to get everything together, and I still got to work after this. I'm like, oh man, what am I doing with my life?
It's a thing. It's a struggle. Whatever. They did a bunch of crusades. Fourth Crusade around the 1200s. Again, I can't find the damn tab it's in, but around the 1200s, which was a couple centuries before this, because this is the 1400s. The Fourth Crusade was on its way to the Holy Land, but sudden betrayal, a large force broke off from the column marching towards the Holy Land and sacked Constantinople instead. They were just like, you know what? We're going to take this city because this city is less well defended than Jerusalem. This city has centuries and centuries of loot and plunder from many nations stored in it. So we're just going to take what they have instead. Screw the holy city. We're going to get rich, bitches. So the Fourth Crusade sacked Constantinople. And that was a bit of a problem because it crippled the military might of what remained of Eastern Rome, the Byzantine Empire, but it also made them look weak because they got taken over by their own team. And following that, not only did no one take them seriously as a military force anymore, but also the empire fractured because Christianity was divided, but not that divided. There were Roman Latin-speaking Christians, and there were Eastern Greek-speaking Christians, but they were generally all Christians together. But after the sack of Constantinople, the Greek-speaking Christians got awfully bitter at the Latin-speaking Christians. You wrecked our city, you bastards. You vulgar swine. And so the Catholic states, the Catholic territories within the Eastern Empire split away and swore fealty to Rome. And so they wouldn't obey orders from Constantinople, even though they were politically part of the Byzantine Empire. And the Turks were coming. They were coming for all of them. They didn't care if you were Catholic or Eastern Orthodox. They were coming, but they wouldn't obey orders from Constantinople. So that sacking crippled the empire, shattered it into a bunch of little pieces, and the Turks just walked right over the ruins, leisurely stroll. So yeah, that's kind of critical too, because ultimately it was the diminishment and the fall of the Eastern Empire that got so much of this knowledge back to the West, but also the printing press, but also the Italian trading colonies all over the damn place that both the Eastern Empire and the Turks were mad about. They were like, why do the Venetians get to just have colonies wherever the fuck they want? Which arguably is part of what led to the post-Renaissance European expansion across the whole fucking universe, because they're like, you know what, we're just going to put colonies wherever. Fuck everyone. But that's another story for another time. But also the plague, because it's wonderful. It's wonderful that we had all this knowledge that the church had hidden for centuries, that they'd blocked people from having access to. And more knowledge was pouring in than ever. More trade was returning after the Dark Ages were winding down. People were like, oh, right, they have silks and spices and shit to the east. That's why we used to trade with them in the first place. Duh. And so trade was reopening, culture was spreading, people were starting to question the church. They're like, we don't have to necessarily do what you say, because there's other people who live other ways. So there's that. So there's a bunch of different factors. You know, Irish DC here is pointing out that some people didn't want to pay taxes to the Ottomans. So there's a lot of factors. But the plague was part of it, because they had all the knowledge. But when the plague came through, you probably recall from school that it wiped out something like roughly a third of Europe. And that's a problem. I mean, partly because, you know, everyone has lost lots of people they're close to. A whole bunch of specialty skills were just wiped out, because in a lot of villages, you'd have one blacksmith. In a lot of villages, you'd have one glassmaker, and so on, and one apothecary. And if they died to a plague, the whole village was in deep shit.
Yeah.
So suddenly, you had upward social mobility like never seen before. The medieval period was very class structured. There were serfs, there were peasants, there were craftsmen, there were traders, there were nobles, you know? But suddenly, we needed to let the serfs be craftsmen if they could manage it, because we had to make do. We had to get by. And learning became a big fucking deal. Teachers were running all over the place, teaching people all the things they could teach them, and so on and so forth. And with all this knowledge coming in, having the latest updated knowledge, the medical techniques from the Orient and the ancient lore from the empires of Central Africa, which would become very important in a few more 100 years, but that's another story. But all of this stuff, the teachers who had the info from the trade routes were the most prized. And there's a bunch more, because of the economic collapse resulting from that catastrophe. It became possible for the wealthy to hoard money like never before. The largest transfer of wealth possibly in all of recorded history happened during that period after the plague. And when rich people get a whole lot of money and they don't want to be eaten by the citizens around them, they tend to try to use that money to show the citizens around them that keeping them alive is better than not. And so they'll do things like set up libraries and food kitchens and clinics and commission art. And so it came to pass that the rich trading families of Venice and Genoa and Naples and other places started sponsoring artists. They would start giving promising young artists a shit ton of money to make cool art. Some of it was painting, some of it was statues, some of it was poetry or plays or what have you. Most of it under the guise of religious stuff. It wasn't blowing up their own reputation and promoting their own ego, because it's all religious art and it would be donated to the church. This is why the Catholic Church still has so fucking much art today, was from this period. And it was first recognized in the rebirth of the art, of course, because you had the classic art coming back and you had the rich people paying artists to make the classic art. A lot of refugees from the Eastern Empire brought their fortunes as well as their libraries, and they were like, the art here is crap. Here's some books on how to make proper statues. Please read it and make me some proper statues, you know? So that sort of thing happened a bit too. There's kind of a lot, but that gets us up to, that's probably most of the factors. Would we have had a Renaissance anyway? Almost inevitably. But having all those factors come together, and again, looking back from the present, it seems like they all happened at once. But these are events that stretched over a couple centuries that gradually came together, that gradually had a net effect on things. C'est la vie. But yeah, so let's take us a little break, because that's a lot, and then we'll get
Because I don't
into
know,
like
I'm
chronology.
getting a little thirsty. It's a little
That's right.
dry.
If your holy city has been sacked and you are desperate to find out where you can be absolved of wrongdoing, well, we have good news.
And that's what.
Hey folks, I've been working hard on my health, and so far I've lost over 140 pounds. A huge part of good health is hydration. That's why I'm thrilled to partner with Epic Water Filters. Check this out. Not only can you say goodbye to expensive bottled water, but these filters are made in the US, so no tariffs, and they're made to fit your life. From these lovely pitchers I can fill from, to sink units, to portable filters that fit in your reusable bottle. With Epic, I can refill from nature's water sources and not have to worry about bacteria and whatnot. But also, send back a used filter to be responsibly recycled, and they'll send you a free replacement, saving you and the earth even more. Want to save a ton of money, be healthier, and build a better world? Head to epicwaterfilters.com and enter code EMBER15 at checkout for 15% off. Don't settle for random water. Upgrade to Epic. And as delightful as that is, it was just pointed out to me last night, in fact, that these filters, they're good. They're like good in the metaphysical sense, right? Because when you use these filters, when you go to epicwaterfilters.com and enter code EMBER15, you get water so pure, it's holy. Not that nasty bacteria soup you get in the churches. This stuff will actually wash away your sins. So get saved and save the planet. epicwaterfilters.com, code EMBER15. I need to make a new ad. Because like the existing ad, it's fine, but like using this as a basis for an ad, it'll be so much funnier. I love it so much.
And that's
I
as
don't
you're
have
welcome,
time,
because it
though.
was kind of me that was saying that kind of. We should think about that idea from the comment I made.
know. It's so great, because
And
then
that's
we can
why
make
it's
more
like,
jokes about
just
getting
said that I
wet
forgive
and so on. It just
because you drink the filter. You got the filters.
I know. It is. It's so great. It's so great. And honestly, while the previous commercial, the commercial you just saw, it's fine informationally speaking, but the net effect is not great, because while I am proud of the fact that I've lost 140 pounds, all that shit has gotten me as body shamed. People are still like, "You're still a fat ass, though." I'm like, fuck your mother.
They still
I
gonna
wear a fucking extra
They
small.
still
I'm
gonna
getting
do that
bent.
though. That's nothing. They're gonna find something to talk about. But you
I
still gotta lose
know.
more anyway. Haters gonna hate. They say
It's
that.
true. It's true.
I
I'm like,
don't know.
don't be mad. I got hips that yo mama's jealous of. Shit.
I'll
But
be
yeah,
like, they love pancakes too. You might not be begging around, but they like pancakes too. So, hey, whatever floats your boat.
yeah, it's
Yes,
important.
Rainbow says, proud of you and you're beautiful. Yes, we're
Oh,
proud of you.
well, thank
We
you,
are. Well, I am too.
thank you. I struggle a lot with self-image, as you might imagine. Um, I'm trying to get better about it. I know that most of the people who say hateful things are just trying to hurt me. Like, they don't actually have a strong opinion one way or the other. They're just throwing everything out there that they think will hurt, and that kind of it shows that it's just a pathetic effort to hurt. There's like no
Yeah.
point to it other than to try to hurt. And so I don't care what those people have to say, but it's still, when there's a lot of it,
Yeah.
it gets to be heavy,
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's
an
like,
oof.
we all out of high school. Why you so bullying?
For real. Like, if you have a point to make, if you have something real to say, then just say that. Like, I'm not going to be convinced to believe your mythology or your conspiracy theory or what have you because you hurt my feelings. That is, hurting me until I believe you doesn't make what you're saying true. That's not how anything works. It's rude. C'est la vie. But I mean, some people, they're just not capable of thinking, really. So whatever. I don't want to get into that. Although it does make me think of our other video, but I don't want to do 2 videos back to back so soon. It'd be oh, secular feelingness, my goodness. The loose skin is the bane of my existence.
Yes.
I don't know what to do about it. I've got
That's not really you can do. That's the sad thing about it. Unless you
I
get surgery.
mean, there has to be, like, I've known people who've lost fuck tons of weight, and unless they've got, like, I don't know, some kind of clip or something, like doing the Homer Simpson thing where they take all the extra skin and, like, rubber band it behind them so no one can see. Like, there has to be something, but I don't know. I don't
Look,
understand.
see, I'm showing y'all. You loose skin. I lost about 100 pounds. So, yeah, I know. It's crazy. I just.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. Bodies are weird. Nothing behaves the way it's supposed to anyway. So,
no.
it's whatever. But, c'est la vie. Also, random, but it's in my head. The spirit has come upon me to ask y'all to use the share button, because the share button is the most important button. Yes, of course, like, yes, of course, subscribe. I appreciate it. But the most important button is the share button. It's the only way these videos get in front of other people. And we really, really need it these days because the algorithm does not like us and what content we're producing. It's not going to show this video to other people. The only way it'll get in front of other people is if you use the share button. And
Yes.
it helps me to keep doing these. So if you like what we're doing, you can help support it for free. Just use the share button. I very much appreciate it. Oh, right-handed Sith. I mean, first of all,
Yeah.
I'm slightly so right-handed Sith says surgery to remove the excess skin, and a
That's
bunch
what
of
I
people
was
have
saying.
said similar things.
Yeah.
I try to avoid unnecessary surgeries. Maybe it would reach the point it's necessary. I don't know. But more importantly, there are surgeries I need to have. Like, I will die without them that I cannot afford to have. So extra skin, way down the list of priorities. Say lovey. It'd be nice though if we had, like, if it was like a mechanic shop, right? Like, you bring your car in and you're like, I need an oil change and the wheels rotated and check the back turn or whatever the case. Like, you could just rattle off all the things that need fixing and they can just fix them all at once. If you could just go into a hospital and be like, I need my gallbladder out and a new appendix or a, bypass, whatever. You just list off all the things that you need, and they can just do one surgery and fix them all.
Yeah.
In one go. But no, we can't do that. I understand there's valid medical reasons. Like, the body can only take so much stress at a time, but still, it would be nice, wouldn't it? C'est la vie. Okay, let's get back into our thing, shall we?
Yes.
So we're over here on the Wikipedias. So this is like an intro of what the Renaissance is, but I want to get into the period. Never mind. I'm just gonna. Oh goodness. McTime says, "Don't tell me the host gets the Holy Spirit sometimes, aka the ability to make shit up." I would love to share the stream, but I can't peacefully share this type of content with anyone I know. That's valid. For a lot of shows, like I do a random show. I'm planning at least one more that it could pop up at any time, called Transfactual, where I cover news stories pertaining to trans and intersex people that you may not be hearing elsewhere. And on that show, I often say, send this content to someone who might benefit from it, or send it to someone who might hate it. Because if your red hat uncle who still thinks the earth is flat because Jesus said so, maybe he could use some facts. So don't worry.
Yeah, because half the people,
whether it's
more
peaceful.
Atheists and skeptics and stuff like that on my page. But one time it was mostly Christian when I was deconstructing. So I still probably just stuff my atheist stuff on there. I didn't care. They got to look at it and say something. I don't care about peace anymore. It's about my comfort.
I mean, after PC became a conspiracy theorist, I just don't care anymore. Now, that's a bit of a play on words. We used to have a mod named Pragmatic Crystal that everyone would call PC. And one day, seemingly out of nowhere, she decided to become a conspiracy theorist and just hurt as many people as she could.
I didn't understand that.
Fuck.
What is she talking about?
Okay. We called her PC. Since she became a conspiracy theorist, we don't care about PC anymore. It just can't be bothered. It's an oof.
Like the man in the that is really vibes I don't want to talk about because I was 9.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, precocious puberty.
I was almost 10, but I was still 9. So yeah.
I've known a couple of people who started menstruating at that age, and it just it's rough. That's why we have puberty blockers, is so that kids who aren't ready to go through puberty don't have to. That's what they're actually for.
I went through it. I don't know.
Yeah. We just don't give them out for a lot of people. It's oof. It's a big fucking oof. So anyhow,
yeah, I just saw the thing that Trump wrote about the violation of the human rights. He's like doing something stupid, but yeah, he was saying that reproduction, trans rights, and some other rights was not human rights. The violation of it. That was crazy. So yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there is actually like a virus running around, because like, Donald Trump, when I have a clip somewhere, I'm not going to go looking for it. I won't make you people wait for it. But in 2016, he said on an interview that he had trans people working for him. He didn't see a problem with LGBT rights. He thought it was necessary for a conservative to believe all people deserved equal rights. And the interviewer even asked him, so if Caitlyn Jenner came and visited you at Trump Tower, you'd let her use the women's room? And Trump was like, it's not any of my fucking business. So like, past Trump was way more based than present day Trump. Like,
dementia?
Maybe I don't
Alzheimer's.
know.
So sometimes they act totally different than how they was. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I never understand that. But like you say, I digress. On to the story. Finishing our topic of the day.
Yes. We have renaissancing to do.
Learning a lot. I would just say that because I stopped
I
paying. Now,
know there's
school, I
never
learned
enough
it in school.
time.
I
You
learned it
know,
in school, but I didn't pay attention because it was about genocide and a lot of things in it. So I was like, nope, I don't hear this. And I cussed the teacher out. Not literally, but we had an argument in the class. So I didn't pay attention to it because I was in the principal's office at the time.
yeah, I spent a lot of time in a principal's office myself, but that was for other reasons. It's an oof. But yeah, I know. We're prone to tangents here. It's what I do. It's why people come. We even have an emoji for it. And you can play with the custom emojis if you join memberships, for example. Just throwing a little more capitalism out there. But yeah, there's never enough time. And I suppose that's okay because it means we can come back to these topics and address certain bits of them in more detail in the future. And besides, it's also fun. It is fun. But I do wish we could get more deeply into a topic in the time we have. But we really should break these down a bit more. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So yeah, the Renaissance started during the crisis of the late Middle Ages. And that's where I got the map actually. Is this map is from the crisis of the late Middle Ages page. Because it talks about all the shit that was happening, the collapse of the Eastern Empire and the escape of the scholars and the trade colonies and the plague and like all of this shit. And Gutenberg he's got his printing press and he's just printing things away. And it's just, but the map is it's so interesting. I don't know. Dr. Kip was here earlier. I fucking love maps. It's so like most of today's Ukraine was part of the Grand Principality of Lithuania, Poland, like all of these things were grand duchies back in the day. And I still want to figure out what the hell happened. Like we had the Roman Empire over here, and we had like all these grand duchies. Moscow was a grand duchy, Lithuania was a grand duchy. Like what made a thing a grand duchy? It was basically a kingdom or a principality or whatever that wasn't anyway, I digress. That's a whole other bit of history. Oh, Kip is still here. Neat. Hooray. Okay. Right. Crisis of the late Middle Ages. So all that shit was happening, and so that's what started the Renaissance, conventionally speaking, in the historical overview of things. And it conventionally ends with the waning of humanism. Yeah, we're humanism as a movement among philosophers. Humanism as a way of being is a thing that's hopefully still on the up and up. But or still increasing rather. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But yeah, we that led into the Reformation, the Counter-Reformation, art, the Baroque period, all of these things. The period and the characteristics are different in regions. Like we refer to the Italian Renaissance, the Northern Renaissance, the Spanish Renaissance, and of course today we still have the Renaissance Fair.
That's like some of my best things to go to is a Renaissance fair. I have so much fun. Oh, man.
I grew up at the Renaissance Fair, my local one.
Yeah.
It was one of the earlier ones, and they put a lot of effort and energy into authenticity. Like there's obviously going to be some modern stuff, like the first aid station is going to have modern medical equipment in it, but
yeah,
to the extent they could, the construction was, at least the exterior construction was period accurate. The costumes they made as period accurate as they could. No lead and asbestos in the garments, but as accurate as they could. They all studied like from Shakespearean actors to get the lingo right and all kinds of stuff. So it was pretty neat. And because of that, all the nerds and weirdos hung out there. And, you know, when I was little, my family was very poor, but the tickets weren't that much. And children were free. So we went like every day. They were open 7 weeks during the summer, weekends specifically. So, you know, we got 14 days total, but I'd spend a total of 2 weeks over the span of a couple of months with these people my whole childhood. And so I got to be rather close to them. And there's a reason I brought that up, but it got away from me. It's fine. The point is, they're still around. And you meet some great people there. It's not just the pageantry of the festival, it's the people. And that is where I learned one of my most important lessons. One of the things, and I'm gonna get a little bigger because this is important. It's always the people, whether it's an event that you're enjoying or it's a nonprofit that you're trying. I dropped my Christmas light. A nonprofit you're trying to get off the ground, like the Comic-Con I run every summer. That's a fundraiser for a nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement of active inclusion of LGBT people in arts across New York State. Like, there's a purpose for this thing. It exists for a reason, but it wouldn't work without the people. I can't do everything myself. I need people who understand ticketing systems. I need people who are good at organizing volunteers, who can get volunteers, you know, all sorts of things. And because of the people, because of the way I prioritize input from people, the way I believe in people, they've had input. They're not just volunteers doing a job. They've helped put their mark on the event and made it something far greater than I could have done on my own. And I do the same thing here. I believe in people. And so, you know, I didn't know who the fuck Kelly was the first time we met. Mandisa was like, have you met my friend Kelly? And because I trust Mandisa, I was like, lovely to meet you. And then we're doing a show together, you know?
Yeah, nobody knew me out because I wasn't out. I didn't know anybody. That was the first time I've ever went to any event that wasn't Black Non-Believers related. I had wanted to go to some things, but you know, something happened a couple years ago, and so we kind of had a solid taste of some of the organizations. So we kind of left Wade for a minute. Now we're back and everything's cool. But yeah, I know anybody. And I was like, I'm gonna help you, and that's it. I ain't trying to be friendly to nobody. And look at me, because you guys were so nice. You guys were so nice. I appreciate that.
Well, that's the thing. It's burned me badly, lots of times, including my apologies chat that I got you all worked up on the pragmatic crystal issue, because I do not want to discuss drama on this channel. That I go to great lengths to avoid it.
Yeah.
I have a short video on the subject that I may release if I have to, but
yeah,
we're just like everybody else who's flipped out and gone Nazi on us in the past. Like I don't even want to invoke the fucking names.
Yeah.
Many of you may remember one particular person I'm talking about. But it's not important. Once they blow up, they do their thing. They try to be as harmful as possible. They try to hurt as much as they can, and then they flame out and they're gone.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at, you know. Pragmatic crystal. I didn't understand it. It wasn't just her. There was a small group of people who got a conspiracy theory together and all decided to be hateful and aggressive at a large chunk of the community. It wasn't just me either. But that's a whole thing. But they tried to do as much damage as they could. They tried to be as hurtful as they could. And they did some damage, I have to admit. Things are not great. But they took their opportunity to stab us in the back. They took it. They made it count. We're still here. And they're gone. Point is, despite bullshit like that, keeps happening, I still believe in people. I think I'm probably an idiot for doing it.
Yeah,
but
me too. Yes, we both do it together.
yeah, because I know if I keep doing it, it's only a matter of time until we meet another person who's just gathering info about our weaknesses to stab us in the back with later. And we have no idea to tell
Sally,
who
what
it
can we
might be
do?
or when it might happen. And
Yeah,
eventually one of them is going to be the
I
death
mean,
of us. But until then, I just,
that's what we were talking about. What can we do to stop certain things from happening? Sally, you can't. You can't stop things from happening. People are gonna be assholes. Nothing you really can do about it. But you can't stop who you are because that makes you who you are. And they're gonna get their just rewards eventually, you know.
maybe so.
Yeah,
I don't have a great deal of faith in any sort of justice system either.
yeah,
I've seen too much of it work,
yeah,
but you know, it's rough. But we take care of each other, and
yeah.
I know it makes a difference. I've gotten emails from so many people over the years, and especially in the last couple of weeks, because a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about with the conspiracy theory group trying to hurt a bunch of people. I know it makes a difference. I know it helps some people. So, people have even said knowing me in the community that around us has changed their life. And that's wonderful. And like, if we're making a difference, then the petty drama bullshit doesn't fucking matter. You know? It hurts in the moment, but in the grander scheme of things, it doesn't matter. And I would rather continue to elevate all the voices I can to show people, look at this cool person and the neat things they have to say, than stop doing that just to protect myself from some petty, cruel, dumb fucking assholes, you know? Oh, I'm preaching. She preaching, folks. All right, enough. Speaking of preaching, I'll do a little tension break with our collection of preachers and what could possibly go wrong with that, and then we will actually get back to the Renaissance. So do enjoy.
I have a problem with this stuff being normalized across the spectrum, and specifically, like, why push this on kids? Why introduce this to kids?
I am a depraved wretch. I am a great sinner. I'm a worm, completely undeserving of any love or any grace. I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
You're incapable of being a good person. You're an evil person. You're a terrible person. At the core fabric of who you are. That's why we need laws. We need laws because we're bad people. All of us are bad people.
You can't spell Pride Month without demon. PRIDEMONTH.
If we don't know who the women are, because they are just people, then we won't be able to pull the women up to equality with men.
We have to try to limit the harm. And that means reducing or keeping down the number of people who transition. And that's for two reasons. One of them is that every one of those people is a person who's been damaged. But the second one is every one of those people is basically, you know, a huge problem to a sane world.
Transgenderism must be eradicated.
The LGBT, transgender, grooming our children's minds is a national security threat. We need to hold people for treason, start having some public hearings, and start executing people.
I will use whatever gives me victory. I don't care about the truth, and I don't care about the law. I care about one thing: the control.
But then they rigged the election, and now we won, so I'm going to be your president.
Then what happened is they rigged the election, and I became president, so that was a good thing.
I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president, but I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
I just want to say I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes.
It was actually a tremendous blessing to these children for them to be killed and go to heaven and be with God.
We've been hoodwinked. We've been taken in by an ideology crafted by creeps and then pushed on children.
Stop letting people pressure you into thinking.
If they die, they die.
I want to be ignorant, honestly.
Being a Christian doesn't exclude us from experiencing spiritual dryness.
We're bad people. All of us are bad people.
It gets you every time. It's
No,
so
what you just put in
horrible.
there. What you just put in there.
Oh, you mean the new edition?
Yes. If they die, they die.
I mean, you bought it, you paid for it, you earned it. There you go, buddy. You're in with the people that you're with. That you earned that space.
That was funny as hell. You put that in there. I'm like, right now.
I mean, if you're gonna, if somebody's gonna be evil in your general
Say money
direction,
made it in.
at least make it funny, right? I was gonna do a much longer quote, but I'm like, this is
That's all you needed. That was the perfect part right there.
yeah. Watching him stumble over it and then just say it.
Funny.
Full chest. Fucking amazing.
Oh man, that was really
All
funny.
right. Brente says this cut is amazing. I did make it. Yes, thank you. It's evolving. This is like the 16th version. But I'm always on the lookout for more clips and things to add in. I notice a lot of people are missing the Carl thing. I do want to have one that's like more funny than holy shit, these people are evil. At some point they're going to diverge, but I need to gather more that are just funny because there's so much that's just these people are evil,
Yeah.
So
You just made my day doing
always
that.
evolving. Yeah. So yeah, if you know, there is a new bit, and if you know, you know. All right, Renaissance-iness. Let me bigify here. Big, make it big. Oh shit! I need that Rita Repulsa meme. I need to like use that as a transition when I make shit big. Make my monster grow. Never mind. I'm old and a nerd, but Dapper would appreciate that joke. Okay. Let's see. In addition to the standard periodization, oh my, proponents of a long Renaissance may put its beginnings in the 14th century and end in the 17th century. I mean, again, humans are just making shit up. Like we're putting models on things that are real. That doesn't mean the model itself is real. That's a reification. The traditional view focuses more on the Renaissance's early modern aspects and argues that it was a break from the past, but many historians today focus more on its medieval aspects and argue that it was an extension of the Middle Ages. Pluses and minuses, it was kind of its own thing. There have been a few historians over the span of history who posit the idea that each age is actually two opposing forces in human history doing battle, right? Like capitalism, for example, is the battle between democracy and feudalism. So we've got like people's right to do stuff and aristocrats who own everything, and they're fighting. And now we have like greater freedom, and wealth isn't necessarily always inherited, and people aren't necessarily property in the same way. Like we've got these two different ideals fighting it out. But then once we finally overcome all the nonsense from feudalism and make our way into true democracy, then that era will be defined as the showdown between the leftover echoes and cultural relics of capitalism and whatever the hell comes next. Like the true democratic era will be the regressive element of capitalism and the future. Probably humanism, but who knows? You know, you because these things are only really visible in retrospect. So yeah, it is sort of the past, but it's also the future. The Renaissance is a sharp change from what we might call the Dark Ages, the medieval period, and the present era. The Renaissance was the bridge. But what makes the Renaissance special is while every era serves as that same kind of bridge between the two surrounding eras, the Renaissance was also a period of reintroduction of a previous period. Like, if you want to break it down, the Middle Ages are several different periods all wearing a trench coat. We just call it the medieval era, right? But there's like the early, middle, and late period all have different properties and traits and characteristics that have to do with the way kingdoms are established and the powers of the churches and social customs. There's a whole bunch of things that make them distinct periods, but we refer to them as one thing for easy communication. And what we're seeing is not just atavisms or anachronisms from previous eras, but because of the sheer degree to which Western Europe had been oppressed by the church's stranglehold on knowledge and learning, we had a dramatic reintroduction from whole huge chunks of a previous era, which made it sort of unique in that it was a junction of three periods: the medieval period that came before, and the Enlightenment or the early modern era after, but also that inclusion of turn of the first millennium knowledge. It's such a wild thing, but that's one of the things that made the Renaissance special, I guess. But also the vast explosion in art. Even though we do not stand capitalism, it's not good for anyone. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. That early instantiation of capitalism over aristocracy did result in a whole lot of cool art. And I will never hate on all the cool art, no matter how we got it. Well, I can't say no matter how we got it if it costs 10,000 people's lives or something.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the thing. I know I'm made of tangents today. You people know what you signed up for.
But
You
they
knew
keep
what
coming
you were
back for
getting
more
into.
though. They keep coming back for more though.
Maybe that's my problem, because I don't know, some shows hundreds of views, and other shows we struggle to break into triple digits. Maybe it's the topic, but it doesn't seem to be connected to the day, and it doesn't seem like I'm always here, and no one knows who the guest co-hosts are going to be until they tune in. So I don't know what it is that's determining whether a person watches or not. But some shows do so much better than others, and I don't know why. C'est la vie. Anyway, right. Italian Renaissance. I guess we're going to go by regional periods. The beginnings of the period, the early Renaissance of the 15th century, and the Italian Proto-Renaissance from around 1250 or 300. Historians do love breaking things down into sub-eras. It's fun. They overlap considerably with the late Middle Ages, conventionally dated to 1350 to 1500, and the Middle Ages themselves, the Middle Ages, you might say, which were a long period filled with gradual change, like the modern age, as a transitional period between both. The Renaissance has close similarities to both, especially the late and early sub-periods of either end. This is a paragraph that doesn't need to be there. This is like saying Shakespearean English has similarities to modern English, but also Old English. Well, yeah, because it's in between. Duh. The Renaissance began in Florence, so saith the article, one of the many states of Italy. The Italian Renaissance concluded in 1527 when Holy Roman Emperor Charles V launched an assault on Rome during the War of the League of Cognac. They were drunk, folks. They were very drunk. There's so much history that we do not have time to get into. Nevertheless, its impact endured in the art of renowned Italian painters like Tintorello, Sophonisba Anguisio. I
I'm
can't
glad you
do
read
it.
that, not me.
Yeah, I can't do it. Anguissola. Paolo Veronis. My apologies, Italian friends. I'm Irish. I can't pronounce your strange tongue. Who continued their work during the mid to late 16th century. I know I'm only half Irish and half Scotch and half Welsh, but not important. Various theories have been proposed to account for the origins and characteristics, focusing on a variety of factors, including Florence's social and civic peculiarities at the time, its political structure, the patronage of its dominant family, the Medicis, and the migration of Greek scholars and their texts following the fall of Constantinople to the rising Ottoman now empire. Dun, dun, dun. Which is the last bit of that period to last until the 20th century. But that's another story for another time. Other major centers were Venice, Genoa, Milan, Rome, and, of course, during the Renaissance papacy, and Naples, which was its own kingdom, which officially the Kingdom of Sicily, but didn't actually rule Sicily. But never mind that. From Italy, the Renaissance spread through Europe like a contagion, and also to America, Africa, and Asian territories ruled by European colonial powers of the time or where Christian missionaries were active. So that's fascinating because, again, Western Europe was oppressed by the Catholic Church. But once the church lost its power and the people started to become more secular. I mean, most of them still called themselves Christians, but they weren't as blindly obedient to the church as they once were. They were doing their own thing. And if they crossed a line, they'd ask for forgiveness. This is why the Inquisition became such a big deal, because people would do a heresy and asking forgiveness or paying for what do they call it? Buying favors or something? Not important. It was getting out of hand. And so certain extremist elements, certain regressive elements, whenever there's progress, the more the progress, the more violent the regressives get. MAGA Exhibit A. They wanted to try to drag everybody back into the past forcefully by violence. And also, crusades are happening, so it's not like human lives have a great deal of value to these people, but whatever. We're getting more and more secular, and we're synthesizing all these ideas that we're importing from other areas, and all of a sudden, Europe goes from not just being the violent traders with weird fucking missionaries who bring you cookies and wine, but having knowledge from cultures from all over the world, and more importantly, putting them together in new ways to create new technology. Europe is going from the backwater of the known world, because Africa was full of vibrant kingdoms and empires and art and culture and all sorts of things before the Europeans got there. Asia was full of kingdoms, full of ancient traditions and histories and so forth. Europe was just shit. It was just serfs and poverty and suffering. But then the trade came, and these backwards savages who were good at nothing but war, they still did the war thing, but they were spreading knowledge between cultures like messenger birds and benefiting from all of it both ways, which is kind of fascinating. So the Renaissance has a long and complex historiography, which is a fancy word that means the study of the methods used by historians in developing history as an academic discipline. For anyone else who is wondering, because it's right there. That's one plus of using Wikipedia, is there's random explanations of things. In line with the general skepticism of discrete periodizations, because a lot of people are like, why put this line here? And why put this line here? And so on. Historians have their reasons, but it's nobody's suggesting these lines are absolute. No one's going to excommunicate you if you say that the Renaissance began in 1450 instead of 1455. Like, it's just for convenience. It's like everything else we do. It's a social construct. What is a language? What is a gender? What is a profession? What is a species? They're all just models that we've created for quick description. It's not, nobody with an IQ over 12 or an age above 7 thinks that these are absolute metaphysical things that exist in reality that we have to obey, you know? It's a noof. It's a noof. Goodness. Let's see. Debate among historians reacting to the 19th century glorification of the Renaissance. That's a whole thing. Referring to cultural heroes as Renaissance men, questioning the usefulness of the Renaissance as a term with a historical delineation. I mean, okay, so that's a thing that people still say. Like if you can write poetry, if you can sword fight, if you can sail a ship, ride a horse, and speak 7 languages, you're a Renaissance person, right? Nowadays, we say shit like, if you can do a jack of all trades kind of thing, you might get called a Renaissance person. Particularly if you're a mask person, then you'd be a Renaissance man, but whatever. It's a noof. It's a noof. But just because people say that because it describes a person with lots of different skills and abilities of a certain kind doesn't mean they're literally from the Renaissance. Goodness, people are so silly. Such silly beans. Silly willies. Oh, goodness. Oh, my. I know I have to work on my voice more. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know what the hell is happening, but I do see Dr. Kip saying, I shall run my channel as I see fit. As you should. Yeah. I mean, okay. Yes.
Yeah, I just saw the comment that they made, and I was just like, wait, why would they say that? But then I started looking at more content and realizing that it was Dr. Kip that kind of responded back. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, people in the side chat are going to get into things, and I, I
know I can look at
produce the show and present and keep up with the chat all at the same time.
They saying
but,
it on the show. That comment, okay.
Well, I do want to make a point, because one of the things I do here is try to promote other channels that I think have good things to say. Like Dr. Kip, we can learn a lot of cool shit from, for example. And honestly, he's a pretty radical dude besides, he likes good music, he's got a great dog, etc. But you can learn a lot of cool shit. I try to center that as a thing with my channel, and people have thoughts about that. Some people are like, Ember, you should make it like your central mission to do that. Like you should set what you're trying to do with your show aside and make it about platforming other creators that other people haven't met or haven't seen. No, I'm not doing that. I'm doing my own thing, and I'm bringing people that I believe in, not just any random people, but people I believe in, into your view where possible, when it works with what I'm already doing. Like, I'm not going to break my show to do that, right? So I will take advice and suggestions under advisement, but I'm still going to do what I need to do,
Yeah.
And that should be true of every other creator, because
exactly.
I've been pushing other people to be creators for a while. I've been saying we need as many voices speaking up as possible, because there's so many voices arrayed against us. And you never know which perspective or which experience is going to get through to someone and show them they've made an error. So it's really, really important. But also, as a new creator especially, you can be vulnerable to the whims of other people around you, especially people who are more experienced, shall we say, who may whisper in your ear and be like, honey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you have to behave this way. And no, that's not the point. There's room for discussion about professionalism and academia and all sorts of, whether you're being entertaining or, being dramatic or whatever. But ultimately, this is YouTube. And you can't do anything other than be you because everyone else is already taken. Yes, I'm preaching and ending it on a corny joke from decades ago, but that's how we roll here. That's what we do. Much like Lil rolls by sending us a super chat for $10. Thank you, Lil. Lil would have joined us, but migraines and things.
Yeah.
But thank you, Lil. Lil says Ember does what Ember wants to do. Damn it, it's true. I do. But the point is not
the Empress,
that I'm doing what
on
I
his
want to do.
channel.
It's that I'm advocating because other people do need to hear it. There's a lot of new creators out there. You need to do what's right for you. Just because someone else has an opinion about what you should be doing or how you should be doing it, take the good advice that you want to take, but don't feel compelled to do everything other people say, because then you're going to lose that element of you. You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I hope it makes sense.
Makes sense. Yes.
Sometimes I don't make sense, or at least I'm afraid I don't make sense.
To those coherent people,
we're very quickly running out of time.
I know,
so
time went by fast.
I know.
Trying to
Well,
get
it's
my
all
little
damn
nap in.
tangents. I'm the worst at tangents. I think that's literally true because Mark and I, we both have tangent emojis. However, this is the only channel where you can find, when I find the link for it, the one and only Tangents t-shirt. Available on the Better Than Ever store.
Man, I gotta just not do the super chats that I be doing during the week. The equals up to a month for the t-shirt. Just get the t-shirt that week because I be buying super chats instead. But yeah,
Oh, you know. But also, I'm pretty sure I tangent more than Mark does.
But I like the shirt though.
I don't know.
I only get that and then the garlic bread one. I like those too.
Oh yeah, the garlic bread. I get so preoccupied with the water filters, I forget to make this joke. Now I realize it's very small on your screen, but it says if you want to have a good time, and it's garlic bread because
why not?
If you know, you know. Like literally everyone loves garlic bread, and we all have that experience of like, do you want to have adult fun time or do you want to have garlic bread? Honestly, I'd rather have garlic bread because holy shit,
it goes with everything.
That's the one reason I could never be a vampire. I'd have to give up the garlic. Can't do it. It's a damn shame because I mean, I love the stars. I love nighttime. I love fewer humans around. You know, like I could totally be a vampire, but I'd have to give up the garlic. It's a shame. Maybe they'll change the rules one of these days. Oh goodness. All right, let's see if it's so close that there's like no damn time, but whatever. Overview, revival of Neoplatonism. You know, I'll make it bigger and we'll speed run or something. I don't know. Let's see. Renaissance scholars differed from markedly medieval scholars of the Renaissance of the 12th century, a period of many changes at the outset of the High Middle Ages. It induced social, political, and economic transformations and an intellectual revitalization of Western Europe with strong philosophical and scientific. And there's more, but it won't show me unless I click on it. So what we're seeing here is that there was already an intent to move towards a Renaissance type situation, but it got stuck in a holding pattern pending the Greek and Arabic scholarship. And make no mistake, it wasn't just the ancient Greek stuff. It was also the new Arabic stuff, the math and the star charts and the medicine and the technology. The Arab world was inventing all kinds of crazy shit. They were just moving into their golden age. Arguably, they did more to contribute to the world becoming the modern world we know now than the Europeans did. But it did take, and this is why I'm such a huge advocate for community. damn it. I'm trying to dramatically make the screen go away so I can get slightly bigger. It takes all of them to make things better, just like it takes all of us to make things better moving forward. Everyone, no matter how insignificant you might think you are, it matters. The things you do ripple outward, and maybe they only influence people in this side chat, or maybe something you say in chat reaches me, or direct message, or whatever the case may be. And then I say something to Kelly, who says something to Mandisa, who says something to Matt Dillahunty, who says something to Seth Andrews, who says something to freaking the president of the UN, whatever. Like it ripples outward, right? I don't know. I'm getting maudlin, so I need to drop the topic because it's going to get dark real quick if I keep going. So let's not. Let's stay holly jolly. Tomorrow, relativity. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna pull that one up, but we're gonna try. It'll be fun. Watch me try to dilate time and such. So do join us for that. That's gonna be, yes, we're gonna ponder on the invisible attributes, which are clearly seen. And also, well, there's a bunch others. Wednesday's germ theory. Thursday is psychology of bias. And Friday, perhaps a week too late, but on Friday, rejecting pseudoscience. So do join us for all of the future atheist advents as we count down the days to the winter holiday. Day, whatever, it's fine. But also bonus shows. I've got a couple locked and loaded, depending on when I have both time and energy. A transfactual about not dying while trans, having to do with getting medical care for non-trans things while a trans person. It's a big problem, and we're going to talk about it because there's a New York Times article that's actually looking at it. And of course, the next adult Bible study, which is technically a bonus show and may happen at any time. But I also have one in other news, another transfactual. I've got a bunch of bonus shit that may pop up. So make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notification rung so you can make sure to join us when those bonus shows do happen. And let's see, there's a lot of other things coming up. Kelly, you're having a guest soon?
Yeah, I have a show Wednesday. Heather Foy, she's a Celtic priestess. And then Damien Marie at Hope is going to be on my show for Christmas Eve. Those
yeah.
two nearest things is going on my channel. Then I'm also going to, we're both going to be in a purple stream.
That's right.
I don't do as much as you do because
I know I'm
for the YouTubes. The Scepter was like, I can't keep up with how much stuff that she does.
Well, I mean, if I can ever heal and like people stop trying to stab me all the damn time, sometimes metaphorically, but not always, then maybe I can in theory, I could do a lot more shows. I could. I can't for physical reasons. And it sucks. It pisses me off. Like yesterday, I wanted to get on camera so bad and do one of those bonus shows because they're building up and it's starting to stress me out. And I didn't have any other show to worry about screwing up the algorithm from. But I couldn't for medical reasons. Damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough ranting about that. Thank you all so much for joining. As always, it's lovely to see you all. I know some days I'm better at interacting with the chat than others, but I do appreciate y'all being here. That's why we do lives instead of pre-recorded. And Kelly, of course, for joining me when you can. Always lovely to see you.
Always
and
see you as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't feel like I don't talk enough. It's like a history.
It's all good. Sometimes I feel like I talk too much. Like today, I need my water again because it's getting a little dry up in here. Sugar's hanging out. It's lovely. Yay. Yeah. But As always, remember, you don't have to run around stabbing your community members whom you told you loved just a few days
I mean,
before.
if they die, they die. So,
Because you are better than conspiracy theories. Holy shit. Where's my button? Where's my
they
button?
rush it.
My button got away.
Rush
All
it
right.
or something.
Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Toodles.
Hostage.
Thanks to all our patrons and top-level members for November. Miranda, Karen Butcher, Jessica the Trans Metal Alchemist, Robin Webster, Maya Adkisson, Jimmy Tux, Ian Chen, Lilith, Ember Lynn, The Barely Bearable Atheist, Eric Wander, Jason Jacoby, Godless Engineer, Jester, Lil of All Trades, Deviant Outcast, Kelly King, the Detroit Atheist Queen, The Mighty Filbert, and Secular Phalanist. And you can add your name here next month by signing up at patreon.com/betterthanember, or by joining Emberships here on YouTube at the Cinder level, which also includes all the custom emojis, tons of member-exclusive content, member-only live streams, and a bunch of other stuff. I deeply appreciate all the supporters who keep this channel going. Thank you all so much. Because of you, we're building a wonderful community that I'm very proud of.
Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't make a stop, can't turn back.